The motion passes.
There we go. Yay. Thank you. And now, allow me to make further errors, which I'll not divulge at any time here. That takes us to our keynote of the evening. Will Melissa kindly come forward? Be heard, as we like to call it here.
That was mid-chew.
God bless you.
Okay, I'm going to read two poems. I love going to bookstores and finding used poetry books, and I found this one, I think, back when I lived in Boston a long time ago. And this woman's name is Jennifer K. Sweeney, and I didn't realize it until I picked it back up today that she spent about 7 years living here in San Francisco. So, wow, it's appropriate.
She got deported.
What's that? Did you say she got deported? Yeah, this one's called Weathering, after the San Bruno fire. Our new house faced the panorama of a mountain burnished to amber stubble by wildfire. At dusk, the sky lowered a spectrum of whites and rested atop it like thick-set netting, rows of rooftops dwarfish under the fog. Much of weathering is erasure, the daily words disintegrating in the mouth each night to mist. What to say after the earth opened its fault line and stole some hillside before seaming itself back together? It's been 3 years. The beginnings of trees are drafting the mountains green this spring. I'm still silenced by that floodplain of fog obscuring the life and death of the city each evening, and how little I know about anything. Just today I opened a brand new book, and there in the runnel of the still, stiff spine, a single silver hair. This one's called Ballad for the Daily Condition. That mostly we do our living in houses, rooms inside houses within rows of houses, and everyone is a supporting character in the story of your life, and the story is an unevenly written mystery with unearned existential leanings, dreams clinging to you until dinner time eclipses the afternoon. That you could be in the house and someone could crawl through the bathroom window while you're scrubbing pots in the kitchen, and the man who leaves only a footprint on the sink seems to you afterward not a real man, your wallet warm against his chest, charged with adrenaline, your name etching its letters in his mind. That we hurry the days toward an astral future when there is nothing left to be done. That we leave our houses and rub up in subway turnstiles where phantom hands slide into pockets deep with regret, and you see yourself in the train window, mirrored by the dark tunnel, see it as you've never seen it before, fluorescent and sad, and you wonder if you've always looked sad on trains. That people tell you things you can't dismiss. The woman who said that every emotion is at least two emotions, like this accidental defeat laced with intrigue, and it seems the train is traveling away from you. That we leave ourselves in places like you have left yourself on the other side of the bay, and the passage is emptying you until your body knows what the sea knows is just matter, mother. That the circuitry of our brains runs amok in the night. For months now, the car crashes and you are pregnant, or you are locked in the library and pregnant, or the man kidnaps you and you tell him you're pregnant, beg him, let you go, and he leaves you at the midnight estuary on the condition you give him your shoes. Feeling across the breakers and rocks with cut feet, your body knows to slip into the shallows, and you ride on the backs of seals toward the pull of empty ships named after women, and there are everywhere seals. Your souls sting with salt, and you wake with their skin cool on your belly. That we wake, all of us, in beds, in rooms, in houses, to reconstruct the familiar. The train surfaces to light, and everyone sways like kelp. To cross over is no small thing, but still we do it daily, wordless, with eyes half shut.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. All right. And Dr. Hal is giving her the attribution sheets because when someone reads something by someone else, I like to keep note of who says what and where and why, so that they can be properly recognized in due course. All right.
Next is Trump rabies.
Trump rabies, are you in the house?
Where'd you go?
He's right over there.
I had all the answers. Then life raped me of all the questions. Or I stopped worrying and learned to love our Führer, Donald Trump. Donald Trump hired me as your sex apprentice. Don't betray our love for politics turned showbiz. Who cares how high the rent Putin pays on your booty is? I want to give birth to Trump babies. Wanna itch with Trump brand scabies. I'm running crazy in the streets with Trump political rabies. Oh, Donald, take me away from rabble who ignore erotic undertones of your babble, because you speak in a tortured ideological scrabble, while the media mangles and gropes and grapples. Listening to you is like hearing Adam eat the apple, spraying juice all over himself like mango snapple. Don't build a wall between your heart and mine, you Republican queen. I promise me raping you is just a dream. It's true, I do want to immigrate into you, you sexy man. Don't worry, I'm 100% not Mexican. So please whip that thing out again. Oh, Hillary Clinton. She can barely be tolerated, let alone elected. Donald Trump, I wanna finger and stroke that dead yellow animal taxidermied and entombed on his head while we lie in the walled-off Astoria presidential suite's bed. When Congress hears of our passionate thrills, I'm sure they'll have Goldman Sachs pay our room service bills. Trump's politics are heinous, and his policies pain us. But I want his maniacal rhetoric shoved up my anus. It won't hurt for long. Less than a decade of Donald Trump tears. At most 8 years of realized Donald Trump fears. So, I'm pasting Trump campaign posters up on my sugar walls. I'm grinding to elect Donald Trump president of my genitals. Oh, Donald, fuck us in your fits of fascism. Piss on us with your winning wisdom. Choke us with your words until we're sick. Donald Trump, you suck! So why not my dick?
Top 2 on YouTube, 1 to 5 on the search engines. I own it on Facebook when Facebook's not being cyber attacked into oblivion like today. The cyber attacks were focused in San Francisco, New York, and Boston. Specific user accounts attacked by millions of other accounts. One more? Quickie?
No, we gotta, it has to be really fast, like lightning. Good to go.
Before the war, I never thought I'd see burning pieces of people raining down on me like the wrath of Godzilla. Before the war, I never dreamed we missed the police state we all hated. Before the war, I never wept with joy at night to eat rats instead of the flesh of those who died that day. Before the war, I never thought I would mourn Antifa dead. Before the war, I never thought I'd never see you again. Thank you.
Mayor. And now we have Steve O'Carroll, give him a rice man as he comes up here. And then after him we have Tommy, then Edward, then Owen, Darlene, Brian, Morgan Freeman, Alistair Crowley, and Marvin Hamlish.
Alistair Sim and
Yeah. Just,
Sam Shepard
they said
standing
they'd be
us up
here.
again.
Yes.
Ah, that bastard. He better stay dead. Or else.
I was biking on my sky blue Schwinn Continental, nearing Holyhead, Wales, to take the ferry to my original homeland, when I passed a trailer set on a hill, where a woman came down a step at a time screaming, "Help! Help! Emergency!" I slammed and threw my bike down and ran up the hill in 7-league boots, the internal and eternal Boy Scout. I gasped to the woman, "What is the problem?" She did not quite answer. She said, "Come into my home." 3 children under 7 gawked quietly at me. A naked baby lay on a little bed. The woman said, "If I don't get some money, that little baby will die." I looked at the baby. He looked plump and healthy and quietly happy. The woman said, "Can you possibly spare a 5-pound note?" I said, "Okay, 3. I gave her the money. She said, "With your beard, you look like Abraham Lincoln. Give me your address and I'll send the money on to you." I had to smile. I figured I had as much chance of getting that money as a storm of snow in that July. I went on.
Good choice.
Chris Holden, now dead, homeless for a long time, used to sleep under the great protection of the area in front of the fantastic doors of the shrine of St. Francis. It looked like he, a beggar, had on his side all the might of the Holy Roman Catholic and Apostolic Church. It almost brought me to tears, so impressive to see him up there in his sleeping bag. But Chris was not a cleanly man. He used to sit in front of the Trieste and spit on the sidewalk. Strongman Lauren Powers Kincaid called him Pig Boy. I guess Chris urinated on the steps and shit between nearby cars. The smell of that urine maddened the big-bellied clerics in brown robes. They spent $45,000 to put up an elegant, sharp black fence. Momo, the outsider artist, who smokes ganja and never stops talking, made a witticism about the hostile fence. He said, "Now Jesus can't get in." Chris's face swelled up. He got sluggish and helpless and died a year later. I first saw Joyce Carol Oates at the Masters School for Girls, where the girls are trained to be masters. Oates stood as brave as iron at a rostrum in front of a velvet amphitheater. The sorority girls could look down on her. Oates was visibly thin and not beautiful enough, so the girls felt called upon to make her feel inferior. They asked questions like, "Why do you feel you have to write so many hours a day?" After all, Joyce basically wrote 3 or 4 masterpieces. That's all. Joyce smiled and said, "Joyce got plenty of charity help. I have to pay my bills." She zinged them with the rapier, quick and deadly. I saw her again at Books Inc. in San Francisco. I told her I thought she was dazzling in Dobbs Ferry. She said, "Oh, are you from the river towns?" I flustered with total pleasure. I told her, "I am from the river towns, but you are the first to ever ask me." I recorded the auspicious moment with help on the iPhone 6S. She and I, together. She is as polite as blue ice.
Tommy,
Yeah. Tommy, come on up here, Tom. Have a nice round as he comes up here and we get this going here.
The camera?
Oh, yeah. There we go.
You were one of the runaways who raced into the shelter kitchen, slammed your backpack on the table, picked at the food heating on the stove, talked the loudest. You were getting it together, you said, going back to Texas to live with an old friend, fleeing a city that had let you down. High rents, no jobs, tuning merchants and neighbors blaming you for everything they thought was wrong in the world. Too many men willing to buy a pound of your flesh, making you feel wanted, then throwing you back onto the street to sleep on the cold cement under the rainbow flag in Harvey Milk Plaza. You never made it to Texas, never made it farther than the pavement where you died, thrown away by your family for being queer, and then thrown away again in the most queer-friendly city in the world for being poor. And speaking of poverty, my family was very poor when I was a child, and I learned a lot of lessons from my mother about how you survive when you're that poor. This is called Don't Tell Nobody. Sometimes she found change around the house, enough for a pound of spaghetti. If she didn't, she still made the trip to the store. I didn't understand why. She left without buying anything. One time a security guard followed us and then stood menacingly in front of her. I hugged her leg and yelled, "Don't hurt my mama!" He backed off. We walked slowly out of the store, her head held high, refusing to let people think she cared that they were staring. When we arrived home, she took the spaghetti from under her coat, whispered, "Don't tell nobody, never," then started dinner before Papa got home. And I'm going to end with a poem that it's called Survivor's Guilt. And for my generation of gay men who managed to survive the 80s, this is something that is with us every day that we continue to live. Guilty. I'm guilty. It's not a crime, but I'm guilty. It's not something I did. I wished for it. Wished not to die the way they were dying. all the young men I knew. They didn't want to die either. There's no rhyme or reason. It wasn't a punishment. They did nothing to deserve their dreams, their lives cut short, obliterated. Yet I survived. Is there a reason why? Something I must do with my life? A milestone I must achieve? A legacy I have to leave behind? Most likely, it's just the way it unravels, without the least concern for who lives or who dies. When the Grim Reaper arrives at my door and whispers, "It's time," will I say, "I need more time," or "It's about time"? Thank you.
Edward Marquis.
Edward, my cue. Thank you, Tommy. Always a good voice. Thank you. You should be an actor.
I did. I studied method.
There you go.
Edward.
Give him a nice round of sit-ups up here. Beautiful.
2 pieces.
Thank you.
Islands where the deep waters flow. Recall the story of coming to an obstruction in the middle of life's journey and see 3 choices. 1, attempt to force advance. 2, go around. 3, find turning some other highway, life highway, to begin on some other way. But Edward just sits there and meditates. After some time, he notices hot dog stands, veggie bars, shops, bookstalls, discos, other small businesses that have been set up by other travelers who pause, and recognizes that they have created a whole new community, unplanned. One day he finds a circus nearby, and meets a lama who sells him the mantra Om Pad Mos Nisa Vimali Hum Fat. It's said in the Kisiti Grabha Dasakra Sutra that whoever sees, hears, remembers, or who touches this prayer will be purified of negativity and gain freedom from rebirth in the lower regions. He begins to reproduce this mantra on saffron-colored strips, then later with pastels, paper, cloth, plastic, tin, but not leather. And then with more primary colors, also with light printing on darker fields, and sells them cheaply at some recitations of his life so far, making many friends, including a balloonist who offers him a ride up and over the initial obstruction. And the story that goes on from there, one many journeyers may navigate for themselves on the river of life when they come to an island there in the middle of your right hand, there where the deep waters flow. October. October blooms in May, wincing, gray water gleams in the sun. There was a dream on this place, sleeping. Year in, everywhere you'd look, listen, there was something to be felt here. An old feeling, but not too old to be true. We were waiting together with both hands. Even the trees, the walls of trees were waiting. Before this house began in the wind, before anyone tried damming the river, there was life in the trees. Now we mourn behind our curtains. Under blankets, night is now too much in hurry. Only nobody is there. The torpor brought from the soft thocking on the asphalt has gone and left us only us. It is time. Nothing waits. It is soon. Nothing waits. It is late, and nothing waits. And I hear in the wind long gone voices who knew the language of flowers, tasted bitter roots, hoped, placed stone upon stone, built an order, blessed the wild beauty of this place. Can you hear in the wind whispers, crusts of soul, insulted soul, scattered ages, decided, gone yellow, thin? I hear in the wind those old sorrows and new voices, undefeated desires, and the muffled advent of something I can only define as bright new angels. Can you hear in the wind independent people who never depart, have no time for friends, and who want to go, and they also want to stay, and they never decide in time? I hear in the wind old phantoms and the swirl of the released mustard star and the cry of innocence. It is soon.
Everyone like you.
And I read that in memory of an old friend who died recently. We talked about her about 3 weeks ago, maybe. Phyllis Holiday.
Oh yes, Phyllis Holiday.
A poet, a novelist, a dramatist, an actor, and a political activist, and a wonderful person. And thank you.
You're here. Thank you. Owen, come on up here. Give Owen a round as he comes up here, please.
Okay, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
I'll read from parts of my chapbook. Tide Sign Outcry.
Thank you, Red.
Thank you. Day of life. The iron flute whinnies and tootles. Clouds of pink and orange red elicits silver soul flashes to the gates that block the earth that feeds the sea of horns and fishes. Cattails mope and teach the black sky new brides of longing and deceit. We sing so to further beds of lava and reeds blowing, imploring the wind to chasten its huge lungs and impious stride of death. Anew, Prometheus, suffer no more. Blow thy horn of the hours of the morn of riot and mirth. Odysseus, bend thy bow, send thy shafts through the musk and mire of light and cavity. Go, deepen thy soul of beauty, and send no more curse thy province and grief and winds. Birds widen thy sky, tear no more his noble flesh and spirit. Aachen, only the starlings wear our sun, half furnished suddenly by dead calm. We enjoy today the air's graceful balm. We take to heaven, joy be he done. We know kindness, bitterness are run back to naught, but our song sung aloud to every benighted dawn, strutting fretfully along, alive to none but the spirit I speak of, living up to Thalia our muse. We want to try to give back to heaven. We call a church for the imagination. We try bright as the moon moon we talk to and cry. Villanelle, to stay the night. My candle burns at both ends, blows the way to stay the night. Ask the morrow to make amends. I know at dusk a way to send my soul to stay to the right. My candle burns at both ends. And half my garments I do rend. The day of cunning, rain and cunning, might ask the morrow to make amends. 2 ladders whipped up breaths, bends up Thursday's wreath. My soul contrite, my candle burns at both ends. Torn cases Amanda's farmed away, flimsy flows like a kite. Ask the morrow to make amends. My head speeding quizzly does wend its slow way towards the fallen light. My candle burns at both ends. Ask the morrow to make amends. Eli's Fort. A cold, suggestive San Francisco summer fell down forever over the sunset and the sea. The fog pipers mourn of merriment and wassels that have come and gone beyond the breakers that are the last remnant of word head over heels, love and connoisseurship. We may surely exhibit to the remaining tradesmen, wondering what our conscience, concise concerning elf breath. I want more elf breath than the beauty our glorious still stoic nakedness can paint and pant and sing out to the sea. The Flying Dutchman. Feelings ago you opened your staring eyes to heaven, you made weeks of still seeing the burnished seas of paradise, gazing to the Lord of heaven calling its chains. Straining notes of feeling filling the room with orchestras of fervor and bounty, hands open to the scarlet promise reaching hands, his Lorelei clasping her mourning back to the dark staring soul. Arias leaping back to the ages of hell and heaven, back again to their divided eternity. His face in the crowd. Day-long full song strides fall around, capsized wretches choose their maker. The blue Dauphin seizes its taker, the sky. Black and brown, full ground, autumn the starry penury. Sound all heavens make when they soul shaker. Hungry sunrises across heaven. Quaker deeds we fought over and gadget wound down like a clock from hell. And order God's crow to be nigh as thrice a mermaid's damsel hotcher. Border our boisterous chivalry, drunk song rice, snowdrifts of disdain. Caution we cried heavenward, our penance I proud dry.
Thank you, Mr. Owen.
Thank you very much.
Owen Douglas. Just so I'm providing a forewarning. When we have a new reader, someone who's here for the first time, we give them a complete treatment of loud approbations, positive animal noises, pounding of tables, and clinking of glasses. This may be the case with this individual.
Yeah.
Darlene? Oh, there. Okay, great. This is Darlene. Give fun, people. This is Was that as good for you as it was for him?
And I've come to bring you an African serenade.
Really close to the mic so people can hear you. Yeah.
I have come to bring you an African serenade. I heard you hit that note. It reached the sky for an all-time high inside me. Then, when the notes cleared, you went deep throat and stroked a swing low, sweet chariot gospel melody, serenading me with a glow from a melanin rainbow that flows from you into a waterfall of peace. Be still. From the real Holy Spirit, that's the soul of life, the love, the husband, the wife, the seed, the ancestry, the Nubian legacy, music to my ears in a hereditary beat, sending silent rhythms that sweep me off my feet. Toe tapping, finger snapping, hip wagging, hand clapping, rhythms that echo African beats deep inside of me. I heard you sing that song from ancient melodies, from over the ocean, across the seas, down the Nile, mile by mile, through the Congo, jungles wild, deep into black history. And the beat goes on and on and on, like it did a long time ago. So, that music flows through the songs in you, like that down-home blues, plugged into a funky groove, chanting free at last, thank God Almighty, I'm free at last. And with all that jazz echoing a golden past. So America, behold, from gospel to soul, from scat to rap, from bebop to hip hop, in the drum beats never stop. The beat that makes me pat my feet, show my teeth, clap my hands, the beat that only I can understand, and that beat goes on and on and on, like it did a long time ago.
Ah, yes. Brian, all the way from Scotland, is coming here tonight to regale you. Thank you. Give him a round as he comes up. Wonderful. I'll get you a little applause, Brian. Didn't I tell you? I forgot to tell you, I guess, so. Consider yourself told.
Right, that sounds like it will do nicely. Right, 2 poems from this book. First is called Second Line Strut. The piano is inspired today. It wants to play its history of popular music from Scott Joplin to Russ Conway and Liberace, but it draws the line at honky-tonk. For once, I play Maple Leaf Rag faultlessly, the entertainer, and others I didn't realise I knew. Then I am off on a gallop through Albert Ammons, Pinetop Smith and Fats Waller. I need a cup of coffee, but I find myself in Bud Powell's lounge. Art Tatum is not in the house, but Errol Garner will show me 4 different ways to play Misty. This piano has never played Chopsticks or Frere Jacques, turns 3 blind mice into the theme from Rachmaninoff's 4th. It can turn halves of 2 tunes into a third. It prefers Professor Longhair to Fats Domino, moves effortlessly from Dr. John to Louis Morrow Gottschalk, back to Alan Toussaint. This piano is always ready for a house party. On Sunday afternoons, it might play Satie or Federico Montpon, but today, Eddie Bow, then James Hooker, take us back to Congo Square, say, can't you feel that second line? Oh yes, here's right. I think this was originally written as a challenge to write a Valentine's Day poem. How love comes out of our pens. It comes out thick and black, like our heart's blood after our mouth has dried up at last, or a blue of the state flower in a country we have never visited and seen only occasionally on TV, or the purple of a sunset where Clark Gable is always young and the music is Art Deco, but if it flows thick and green, that might be a fine madness or a lizard brain waking up. And a fine yellow line is not something we would put our name to unless we were a visiting alien, while brown is that old country favourite, faded love, something that was black or blue, but still true. Now red, a strong, unbroken line of scarlet. We know what that is. We are all Robert Burns for a day. And while we can hold a pen and hold our thought, love comes out, if true, without hesitation, repetition, or deviation. Thank you.
Brian Doherty, what's happening?
Sadly, I'll be on the plane back home on Friday evening, so if you want one of these, it's only $5.
There you go. See him at the break, and now, thank you for that. And now we have the inestimable, is that a good word?
You could say so.
Hal Robbins, Dr. Hal, give him a round as he comes forward. Please. And let me get you in there.
Shelley, Ode to the Nightingale. Not Al Nightingale. I don't think he's here tonight, but hail to thee, blithe spirit, bird thou never wert, that from heaven or near it pourest thy full heart in profuse strains of unpremeditated art. Higher still and higher from the earth thou springest, like a cloud of fire, the deep blue thou wingest, and singing still dost soar, and soaring ever singest. In the golden lightning of the sunken sun, o'er which clouds are brightening, thou dost float and run like an unbodied joy, whose race is just begun. The pale purple even melts around thy flight. Like a star of heaven in the broad daylight, thou art unseen, yet still I hear thy shrill delight. Keen as are the arrows of that silver sphere, whose intense lamp narrows in the white dawn clear, until we hardly see, we feel that it is there. All the earth and air with thy voice is loud, as when night is bare from one lonely cloud, the moon rains out her beams, and heaven is overflowed. What thou art we know not. What is most like thee? From rainbow clouds there flow not drops so bright to see as from thy presence showers, a rain of melody. Like a rose, embowered in its own green leaves, by warm winds deflowered, till the scent it gives makes faint with too much sweet those heavy-winged thieves. Like a glowworm, golden in a dell of dew, scattering unbeholden its aerial hue among the flowers and grass that screen it from our view. Like a high-born maiden in a palace tower, soothing her love-laden soul in secret hour, with music sweet as love that overflows her bower. Like a poet hidden in the light of thought, singing hymns unbidden till the world is wrought to hopes and sympathies with him, it heeded not. What objects are the fountains of thy happy strain? What rocks, what waves, what mountains, what shapes of hot sky or plain, what love of thine own kind, what ignorance of pain? With thy clear, keen joyance, languor cannot be. Shadow of annoyance never came near thee. Thou lovest, yet ne'er knew love's sad satiety. Waking or asleep, thou of death must deem things more true and deep than we mortals dream. Or how could thy notes flow in such a crystal stream? We look before and after, and pine for what is not. Our sincerest laughter with some pain is fraught. Our sweetest songs are those which tell of saddest thought. Yet, if we could scorn hate and pride and fear, if we were things born never to shed a tear, I know not how thy joy we ever could come near. Better than all measures of delightful sound, better than all treasures that in books are found, thy skill to poet were, thou scorner of the ground. Teach me half the gladness that thy brain doth know. Such harmonious madness from my lips would flow, the world should listen then, as I am listening now.
Wow.
Thank you.
And now the
David Erdreich.
Yeah, David Erdreich, the wondrous, wonderful, and magical, will kindly step forth to hold forth our gift. And I will speak and do my bit for Nellie, our feature of the evening. David, how are you? Good. Thank you, David. Always glad.
Hal Robbins,
Yeah.
master of songs, not through a beak, but in a way in which all we humans speak.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
Compound, barracks, combination of two substances, verbs, fractures by sound, calm, quiet, serene. Pound, bang, thump, or pound weight, define, contrast, lambast. Well, you know, I can't throw too. I have more to throw at you, but you got to respond. Ignorance, embellishment, fabrication, these are the tools I present myself to work with. Sure, the information is there, I just don't have it at hand. Of course, in the retelling, I insert my own grandiose flourishes to heighten the mood, raise my own standard, amuse and entertain. If I've forgotten important details, I can make them up out of whole cloth. In the 5th grade, in my horn book, one of 2 aphorisms I wrote was, "He who is full of himself is soon empty." I have been unsuccessful in totally emptying my own vessel in order to start my real path. Lint shadows my every move. The other aphorism was, "A fool and his money are soon parted." Saving money has always been my bugaboo. I've always been more interested in pursuing puns than pecuniary practicality or dinero discernment. Correct use of the tool, which is a human being, is the task at hand. Like omnipresence, it is always both available and invisible. Poetry can open that petal or crumble when moldy. Given a single note and a key signature, can I jump the interval requested? Part landing? Help me. This is, thank you, yin yang. Once you build a reputation, it becomes a pedigree for pedagogy. You must exercise exorcise with push-ups, put-downs, turnarounds, which is the musical equivalent of style and variation. Observe the morel obligation every mushroom hunter takes as a requirement. The source is underground, frequently has a direct connection with trees, can feed you or kill you very unpleasantly, and is a master of change. Protect your enamel. It is part of your well-being. Smiling increases the likelihood of singing on pitch. Pitching lends credibility to the potential for fatherhood, leading to world peace in the workplace. An arbitrary arboreal aspiration, doled out with every breath, ladled with a soup song of collard greens, as a chorus of bluebirds explains that what you see as weeds are actually seeds sown into the pocket of your garment. Boom, 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 boom. Deliberately killing bees is tantamount to cutting off your own toes, or trying to swallow your prehensile tail, the one you discarded millennia ago. It is directly connected to the central lack of intelligence agency's mantra of kill first and reinvest in collateral damage later. Proliferation of poison in solution has exploded in my lifetime as a way of strife paid for by every taxpayer in the United States. Ready or not, here I rot. Fracking is greedily sawing off the limb you're sitting on, like using fuck as a curse word instead of as a term of love and affection. Half a generation ago, when Republicans were exposed for chicanery, they would stop beating us with sticks and resign for fear of being jailed, that is, being chained and locked up to their own disease. Today, the White House malaise touts sin as virtue, believes it is as slick as oil on water, has shown you can lose money gambling even when you own the rig and the Wonder Wheel, and has set the new precedent for acting presidential by retaining exactly zero virtues while inhabiting a human body, and showing reality a certificate of being damaged at birth. Even when the KGB Secret Service has been exposed, it takes at least a generation to heal and remove what has been put in order. Or to quote Willie the Shake, oh, what a tangled web we weave when first we practice to deceive. And that was written by why? Not.
Do we do the break after you or after the teacher?
Well, as I'd like to say, unfortunately, that brings you to me. And because of so many things were read tonight, I didn't know what I was going to read. So I figured I'm going to read what I want to read.
Yes. Good. Yeah.
And so
Number seven.
Thank you, dear. So this is okay, I'm just going to read the poems. Forget all of this, is that. This comes in two parts, though, so you know. And it's called The Archer. Not quite instantly does thought, the will to power, charge currents through neuron circuits to direct the broad of the back, sweep up the arm, command the hands and fingers, all the implements of duty, as it has the eyes fix and focus. When drawing the bow to its set point, one aims, eyeing in as the breath is paused, held at bay until, with its gradual release, the sight is brought down and slowly drawn to the target. The decision to loose an arrow is as much a choice as it is a hope, and when loosed, the fletching flutters and the shaft's line is always true to its mark, if not yours. 2. In the far, far north, still waters run the deeps. The ocean's conveyance is dispensed with, as is the salary. Thus time and ice both grow thin. Thawing, the icy grip relaxes, and the remaining reserve, that breadth between running out and letting go, closes.
Salute, I say, l'chaim. While we're here, we may as well enjoy this intermission, this marvelous interlude, the calm before Mother Earth pulls, drawing back all the forces at her disposal, arching across the horizon to her set point. As she takes aim, though not only at us, but to her real target, which we just happen to obscure. She means well. And now a number between 1 and 6.
3.
Okay. Oh, good. I like this one.
I knew.
They call it singing. For miles around there's farmland, but I stop to look at you, a great but lone tree, of a kind I do not know, but which has long taken root here in the soft love of the Great Mother through the parade of seasons. Your leaves seem golden in this light, and you whisper, your limbs in motion, so thousands of leaves move in millions of ways. This is your body singing. No wonder children love to come near and regard you as friend. Home to any bird, they join in with you, though they play tunes of feast or drink while you sing only of time. I took a portion of this day to touch you with peaceful intent, give you a pat, speak softly, and in a way offer to you the grace I feel as my beautiful eyes behold your elegant naked frame. The friendly wind plays soft through fluted clouds drifting in the sky, and you have a beautiful style, wonderful taste in friends, and your mind refines mine. Your spirit laughs with the ground, and this is freedom. Intimate with our mother, you reach to the stars with muscular limbs, moaning in your passion so that God is pleased. His hands find your soul and feels its yearning to build music. We share instruments, you know. We are companions on this earth, and with it, so are we friends with the sun and its planets. Mountains and clouds envy your dance as they might my legs or tongue, were I among them and singing as I do now, hopefully with you, as you dance. So there will be no sleep tonight. I am become a pilgrim, with the whole of this prairie as my summer house. And it's true, love does bring out the truth. One is never forsaken, as one may be by the joys of our simple paths. Surely, my friend, we can guide each other here, find what's hidden forever, when all we have is time. That night, heaven lifted its filmy veil, revealing the magnificence of myriad worlds flung out upon the universe of unlimited love. And our conduct of that love was exemplary. Thank you.
Okay, and introduce the teacher. Yeah. So, what was that, man? I'm going to try something.